Hi, thank you so much for registering for this webinar. Uh, Today, we're going to talk about how to use customer insights to supercharge your landing pages. First, a little bit about me. I'm Nopadon. I'm a growth marketer with 20 plus years of experience. I'm a partner at Startup Core Strengths. I was formerly an EIR at City Ventures and the former growth hacker in residence for 500 startups. In this 50-minute webinar, we'll talk through how to use customer insights to really supercharge your landing pages. Thanks. Thanks for registering for this landing page lesson. Let's get into it. We're going to talk about how to build landing pages that convert. Let me first start off by saying I'm not a professional researcher. I'm definitely not a designer. So if I can do this, obviously you can as well. The goal of this exercise is to create landing pages that convert. The whole process revolves around making quick, iterative changes based on customer feedback to create landing pages that resonate with your audience. So today we're going to talk about how to use some of these customer insights and include them on the landing page. We're going to talk about how and why you should create a landing page in about 15 minutes, how to use a concept called the 4 forces to increase conversion, and how to quickly spot and overcome comprehension issues, and finally, how to quickly find your winning proposition without having to spend a whole load of money on traffic. All right, so who are you? You need to have pretty detailed knowledge about your customers' sort of pains and gains. What are your prospects struggling with? How do they define success? If you don't have these answers, it's okay. I'll show you the questions that you can ask. But basically, look, all of your prospects are trying to achieve some sort of a goal, right? And what we're going to try to do is figure out what their outcomes are, what their goals are, and how are they trying to achieve these goals and what their context is. So from here on out, I'm going to use the example of someone who needs to create landing pages, someone who is not a designer, and someone who is not technical. That would be me. So that's what we use for an example. So let's talk about outcomes. An outcome is nothing more than their ultimate goal. What are they trying to achieve? We can divide outcomes into different levels: functional, emotional, and social. So let me explain. Functional. I could have a functional outcome. So if I wanted to use a landing page builder, I want to generate more leads, or my goal is to generate more signups or boost sales, right? My emotional outcome could be, look, I want to feel proud. I want to feel good about the pages I put out and publish. I could have a social outcome, which is I want to be perceived as someone who puts out slick and professional work. The second point, alternative solutions, is a way of thinking about what is their consideration set. How does your prospect currently solve their problem? What tools, what processes are they currently using? So in this case, for example, of a person using or creating landing pages, are they using an internal designer? Are they using an agency? Are they hiring someone on Upwork, or are they doing it on their own? Or are they doing nothing? So how are they currently trying to solve that? And finally, we want to understand our prospects' anxieties and inertia. So there are these forces that are pushing and pulling against a person when they're looking at your landing page or your website. And we really need to understand what anxieties do they have about your particular product, or maybe even anxieties about your product space, your product category. What's keeping them from making a decision? What's keeping them from trying your product? And in our example, it could be, look, does this landing page software require me to understand any coding? Will it integrate into my existing CMS, or can I use it with my existing analytics system? Do I have to get someone technical to help me configure a domain or subdomain? So unless we really understand those frictions, it'll be hard for us to make progress. And finally, you got to be doing customer interviews. If you are not doing customer interviews, you're not going to get the full impact of this landing page exercise. You really have to be doing interviews. Okay, motivation and friction. These are the 2 key forces at play. The whole point of this exercise is to increase our prospects' motivation while simultaneously reducing the cognitive and emotional friction that they have to go through. There is a theory called information foraging theory, and it looks at how humans search for information. And the theory says that people have an inbuilt foraging mechanism from our times of hunter gatherers. Basically, we're very good, we're very adept at figuring out unconsciously if we are getting warmer or colder when we are looking for something. And so when we are putting together these landing pages, what we're trying to do is reinforce that scent trail. We're trying to tell that person you are getting warmer, you are getting hot. And we do that by using images, our copy primarily, to tell them, hey, you're getting warmer. This is what you're looking for, right? Some of the biggest wins that we see at Startup Core Strengths come from what we call language market fit, which is figuring out what it is that that customer wants and iterating the language until we have that dialed in. Copy is the cheapest way to find what your customers want, not iterating the product. Literally just testing copy. So people are always looking to reduce friction in their sign-up process, right? If you have a 10-stage process, obviously that's not great. But one of the things that we can do is we can speed up the momentum, speed up the velocity by which someone comes to your site. Let me explain this for a second. Have you ever been in a situation where you were trying to buy, I don't know, concert tickets or something, and then the website kept crashing, but you kept at it, you kept persevering? Why did you persevere, right? Why didn't you just give up? The reason for that is behind that paywall was something you really, really wanted, and you were willing to take all of that abuse to achieve your goal. Your proposition is no different. What you want is your language to resonate so much in that the person wants this thing so much that no amount of friction is going to slow them down. So by testing our proposition, we can just effectively speed up the momentum by which someone hits your site. Okay, so this is just an extreme example. This is the worst registration form I've ever seen. My partner Matt dug this up from somewhere. So look, to drive the point home, if I said to you, fill out 4 of these pages, and at the end of this, you get a free MacBook Pro, would you do it? Yeah, obviously. But if I said, hey, fill out 1 or 2 of these pages, and you'll get a free coffee, you going to do it? Maybe, maybe not, probably not. So your proposition is no different, right? If there's something on the other end of that that resonates with your audience and they really want it, they'll be willing to persevere. Okay, so this is the 4 forces. This is all about understanding the motivation and friction that users have to endure. And when we understand that, we can boost conversions. So the 4 forces is part of a customer framework called Jobs to be Done. And we're huge fans of it at Startup Core Strengths. In fact, it's a really big part of our customer psychology portion of our coaching program. We'll get into this framework, the Jobs framework, in another talk entirely. So look, motivation is super important, right? But the thing that we often overlook is the amount of friction, anxiety, and inertia that your prospect has to overcome in order to make progress, in order to achieve their goals. This cheat sheet will be included as part of the lesson, and it's really used to help you put yourself in your prospect's headspace, and it's to help you tease out these forces that are blocking your prospects. So if you can see the top 2 here, we've got pain and promise. Pain is that thing that they're suffering from, and that's pushing them towards you. Then you have the promise. The promise is, again, their outcomes. What does the promise of their future look like, right? What is the promise of your new solution, and how is that going to change their lives? Finally, the 2 forces that are pushing back against them simultaneously when they're on your website, and that's the anxiety and the inertia. So look, I've filled this in based on someone looking to use a landing page software. So the pain, my campaigns are tanking, so that's a pain I feel. Promise, I want to be able to achieve my goals. I want to smash my targets. I want to increase my signups. So what are the anxieties I feel now? Put yourself in the shoes of your prospect. So the anxieties I feel, I suck at design. And so is this landing page solution going to help me make progress? Finally, what's keeping me? What's holding me back? Well, is this going to work with our current site? Am I still going to have devs who are going to have to help me put this and make this live? At the bottom, this is important. You pay attention to these. These are the key sort of drivers of inertia. That's some sort of habit, an inability to try, high cost, price, cost of switching? Is it an unfamiliar product category? Does it require a change in behavior, multiple stakeholders? So think about your product for a second. And if any of your products go up against this, is it an unfamiliar product category? Does it require someone to change their behavior? These are things that you're going to have to overcome. And you're going to have to find ways tactically to address this in your landing page, in your copy. Okay, interviews. These are often overlooked, and it's really the secret weapon behind crafting compelling copy. If you are using your customer's exact language, the way they talk about their struggle and their unmet needs, your page will clearly resonate more with your prospects. So it's best to interview customers yourself. If you can't do that, you can look through online reviews if you have Trustpilot. The second best thing you can do is speak to your sales team or customer service people, and they will have customer insights. Obviously, it won't be the same. The best method is to do primary research yourself. We also recommend that you record them and transcribe them. There's loads of software out there that will help you transcribe. And we're looking to incorporate as much of the customer's language as possible into your pages. Again, this is about reinforcing that scent trail. Are they getting warmer? Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to speak to recent signups or prospects. The hardest part of copy and content creation is crafting something compelling. But I'm telling you right now, if you are using your customer's language, these pages will write themselves. You're literally just copying and pasting customers' pains, outcomes onto the page. No need to be creative here. So the first question I'm listing for is their struggle and outcomes. What is that pain? Again, in that 4 forces, what's that pain and promise, right? What's really hard for them? What's really important to them? What's their ultimate goal? What is the context? So again, for the landing page builder, it's not like, well, yeah, I'm using the landing page, but the real outcome, the real goal that I'm trying to achieve is to increase sales, is to increase signups. It's not really about using the landing page. It's about using the landing page to achieve my goal. What is that goal? The other thing I'm looking for is to understand, really, again, their outcomes. Why did you buy this product? What does this product allow you to do, right? And again, it's listing for, well, I want to convert more signups or leads. I want to grow revenue, right? That's the ultimate outcome of using a landing page builder. And you'll want to listen to, what's the context? Oh, okay. The person says, yeah, they're not very good at design. They're not a designer or developer. And they need help creating landing pages and it takes a week. Okay. So that's the context. I also listen to, and I also ask them, so being able to do that yourself, what's the benefit? Why is that a benefit important to you? And again, this is not about the feature, right? So if they say, oh, yeah, it's a drag and drop. It's easy to use. I really like that feature. Well, why is that important to them? Well, it makes me feel confident that I can do it myself, right? I want to be perceived as someone who puts out good work, and I want to be proud of my work, and I don't have to rely on anyone else to do this. Finally, I want to think about, I'm asking questions around that anxiety and that inertia and those 4 forces. How long have they been thinking about this purchase? I'm listening for, yeah, maybe I wasn't sure how easy this was going to be, or I wasn't sure how setup was going to work, or if I was going to need some sort of developer resources. Listen to these, right? They're basically telling you all the things that are sort of standing in their way. Again, transcribe these interviews, organize them based on these 4 forces, and you'll be able to sort of copy and paste them straight onto the landing page. All right, let's get into the landing pages, the 15-minute landing page. So we call it the 15-minute landing page. It's not a gimmick. We literally want you to create your first copy, your first iteration of your landing page in 15 minutes. If I gave you an hour, you could take an hour. If I gave you a day, you could take a day creating the perfect landing page. You could take weeks, right? But because this is an iterative process, your first iteration of this landing page should be built in Google Slides, PowerPoint, InVision, Figma, whatever is quick and dirty. And what we're going to do is we're going to put this page together, and then we're going to go through a few rounds of comprehension exercises, comprehension tests. before we finalize the design. So that's why we're going to do this in 15 minutes. Okay. So on the right is sort of the framework for a landing page. Step one, how are people going to get to this page? We need to think about that for a second. Is it going to be PPC? Is it going to be social? How are they getting to this? Then we also have to decide what is the appropriate call to action for these people. Is it learn more? Is it to download something free? Is it to, what is it? If you have a high sort of a high consideration purchase, something expensive like £10,000 annual software, are they really going to try to buy now? Right? It's probably learn more, book a demo. Then we're going to talk about the headline in depth. What we're looking to do is we're looking to create a headline that resonates and that it is aligned with our prospect's goal that they're trying to achieve. Then we'll craft a sub-headline by simply answering the following question: what is it? Who's it for? Why is it good to them? We'll talk about how to use social proof, credibility. Then we'll talk about how to display your top features and how you're going to message them. Then we'll talk about what other content you'll need to go into depth and detail so that the prospect can make further progress. And then potentially talking about overcoming a lot of the anxiety and comprehension with an FAQ. This was a slide I saw from a talk given by a copywriter called Pete Boyle. His website is pjboyle.com, and I just thought it was spot on. This is something that we hear time and time again. People say, well, this is how Nike does it. This is how Apple does it. Why can't we come up with a creative headline? Why can't we do something witty? It's because the established brands, the incumbents, everybody and their mother knows who they are. And if you are a new, small, upstart challenger brand, you're going to have to be extremely clear and benefit oriented, right? These established brands can afford to be aspirational, clever, witty. So let me give you an example of this. On the left, you clearly see is a challenger, and they're pretty clear. Your all-in-one business instant messaging app, secure and private enterprise messaging for your team and partners, right? Very clear, says what it does. Now on the right is Slack, and almost everyone knows who Slack is, right? And Slack says it makes it downright pleasant to work together. Again, witty, not very clear. So if you are of Slack prominence, feel free to ignore this headline test. But for the rest of us, we need to be clear. Okay, so headlines are super important. This is the first thing that people are going to see. And this is the first thing that we need to reinforce in that scent trail. But before we get into headlines, there is a famous quote by a Harvard business professor from the 1960s by Professor Theodore Levitt. And Theodore Levitt said, people don't want to buy quarter-inch drills. They want quarter-inch holes. And what he means by that is people don't buy drills because they want the drill. They're buying the drill because they want the perceived benefit of the drill, the holes that they produce. People don't necessarily want your product, right? They want the perceived benefit. So we really need to focus less on talking about what we are versus how we can help our prospects. So to that point one, that's the biggest mistake that we come across is we love to talk about what we do, our product, blah, 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 blah. And we're focusing too much on that and not how we can help our prospects and help them overcome their pain. So we have a simple test, right? It's called the Now You Can test. And essentially what you do is insert the words "now you can" in front of your headline and read it out loud. Does it sound awkward? Is it something like, "Now you can, the all-in-one analytics tool for high-growth startups"? If it sounds weird, then you're talking about your product too much rather than what your customer is looking to achieve, and that's bad. We got to make sure we're relevant, right? Making sure that thing that we're claiming, that thing that we're putting out in our headline actually backs out to a goal, an outcome that your prospect is trying to achieve. Avoid the generalities, platitudes like we're the best. It's amazing, right? Because it sounds like marketing bullshit. No one believes it. And finally, the goal of this headline, really, the job of this headline in that first 3 seconds is to make sure that person knows that they're in the right place and entice them to read the headline. So let's take a look at a really poor example. And this is from Airtable. Okay, now you can one platform, endless solutions. To this day, I know they're super popular, but I still don't know what they do. Let's take a look at another bad example. Now you can, intelligent automation is hyper automation. Intelligent automation is hyper automation. No clue. Next. Hey, so let's look at a good example. And surprise, surprise, a landing page software company does a very good job at crafting good headlines. So let's do the now you can. Now you can convert more customers. So as you can see, based on their customer interviews, I'm sure that this backs out to the struggle. This backs out to that outcome that people are looking to make. Again, unbounce. Now you can convert more leads. Again, I feel that pain. I feel that I'm red hot. I'm very warm. I'm going to invest another 3 to 5 seconds continuing on to see if this is something that is going to be able to help me. This is from MailChimp. Now you can create beautiful branded emails that make you look like a pro. Totally resonates with me. And again, if you can see here, I put in, this is the social and emotional outcome. Makes you feel like a pro. That is an outcome that I can definitely identify with. Again, another emotional outcome. Now you can ... create a website you're proud of. Exceptional headlines. So again, headlines are the first thing that people see. In that first 3 seconds, we're trying to strengthen that central. We want to make sure that we are talking about their outcome. We're aligned to the outcome that they're trying to achieve. And we're not really talking about our product. We're talking purely about what they're trying. Okay, now to start putting it together. So take a minute, take out a Post-it note, scrap of paper, write down a couple of ideas for headlines. I also find that this is a useful group exercise. I like to see what other team members come up with. So take a couple minutes to do this, or actually a minute, and then we'll jump into subheadlines. Subheadlines. So now that someone has read your headline, hopefully they've moved on to your subheadline. The job of that headline is to get you to invest a little bit more time to look at that subheadline. So, all right, are we getting warmer or colder? And so I see a lot of people struggle with the subheadline, and then they go back and forth trying to be witty, creative, and they really spend a lot of time wordsmithing this. So really, there's a formula, and it's just quite simple, and you should be able to answer these questions. What is this? Who is it for? And what is the primary benefit to the user? Now, what is it? What does it mean? Is this an email creation platform? Is this a landing page creator platform? Is this a CRM tool? How do people think about it? What are the words that they use? What is the headspace? How do they think about this thing? Now, I put a little star there because if you are in a new product category, if you're creating something new and that space doesn't yet exist, don't try to worry too much about this because it doesn't exist. Just answer who's it for and what the benefit is. So let's get into a bad example. Let's see. What is it? Orchestrate powerful business solutions with a single source of truth. The only limit is your imagination. So what is it? Don't know. Who's it for? Not sure. And what's the benefit? I guess truth. Again, that's from our friends at Airtable. Not sure, again, what it is. Let's take a look at, again, Automation Hero, a powerful end-to-end intelligent automation platform. So what is it? Okay, they answer the question, automation platform. Who's it for? Don't know. What's the benefit? Some sort of automation, I guess. Pretty terrible. All right, let's take a look at MailChimp. Engage your audience with email marketing, whether you're just starting out or you're already a pro. MailChimp is easy to use. Email Builder has tools that you need to grow your business. Okay, so what is it? It's an email builder. Who's it for? If you're just starting out or if you're a pro, okay? What's the benefit? Grow your business. Pretty clear. This is Basecamp. What is it? It's a project management tool. Who's it for? teams. What's the benefit? This whole statement is a benefit, right? Better organized, communicate better. Again, Basecamp does a really good job at highlighting and pulling out customer insights into their copy. Okay, and this one is Lead Pages, another landing page builder. So what is it? Builds websites and landing pages and pop-ups. Who's it for? Small businesses. What's the benefit? Connect with an audience, collect leads. Again, very clear. This one, I believe, this is Heap. What is it? It's an analytics platform. Who's it for? Product marketing and customer success teams. What's the benefit? Craft exceptional digital experiences that convert and retain users. Super clear. So take some time, think about what is it? What is the product category that people think about when they think about you? Who are you building this product for? Who's supposed to be using it? And just be very clear. What's the benefit of them? What is that outcome? What are they trying to achieve? And you'll be far better than 90% of the landing pages that are out there. Okay, same thing as before. Grab those Post-it notes. Take 2 minutes this time. Answer the following question. What is it? Who's it for? What are the benefits? Again, do this with some team members and see what they come up with. Once we get that, we'll get on to social proof. Okay, let's talk about social proof. Look, credibility, social proof. Think about, our own behavior when we see the food truck line that it's got a massive queue, or we see that restaurant at on a Saturday night that's empty, right? That food truck must be amazing, or that empty restaurant must be rubbish. So we really need to use some of that social proof, some of that credibility to help people, to help overcome a lot of anxiety, to show people that they're getting warmer, that this is right for them. So what is it that your customers are struggling with, right? What are they worried about? What keeps them up? And so we want to make sure, and this is where people always make a mistake, is that they show a testimonial or a quote or a case study or whatever that doesn't actually align with your customer's goal, that doesn't actually align with the pain that they feel. There's a misalignment, right? The other mistake that we often run across is that, look, we have to be able to snap our prospects out of autopilot. We need them to stop scrolling, right? And we do that by showing them something that is going to stop them in their tracks. So in your testimonial, do you have anything that's quantifiable? Do you have a return, ROI? Can you prove some sort of return on ad spend? Can you show an increase in sales or time saved, right? And we want to be able to show an incredible number, a huge number that sort of snaps them out of autopilot and pays attention. So let me show you an example of one of our portfolio companies. This is called POC Commerce, and they do apps for e-commerce companies. Here they have an amazing testimonial. Misguided shopping app went from 0 to 30 million within just 4 months, right? That's huge. The only improvement I think they could make on this is they could have called out 30 million within 4 months as a headline. And that would be sort of show-stopping right there. Another example is from one of our portfolio companies called Chattermill. I hear they've done a great job pulling out that metric. A 97% increase in recipient NPS. Okay, that sounds incredible. And they have that testimonial to the left, and then they have the read their story, which leads to the case study, which is an amazing way of doing that. Here's another good example by one of our alumni, Nozzle, and they're showing that an increase in total sales by 30% or conversion rate increased over 40%. Again, great numbers. Stop people, read the testimonial, right? Reinforcing that central, really telling people you're getting warmer, you're getting hotter. Here's one of our companies, again, one of our alumni, Stepladder. And what we did was we were able to find testimonials on their Trustpilot reviews that really highlights the struggle that people have and the outcome, right? The struggle here was putting specific amounts into savings. The outcome was to control their savings. So this is a great way, again, of pulling testimonials that highlight that pain, that struggle, and that outcome. To reinforce that central. Here's a bad example of This testimonial just does nothing, right? Cracking idea for an app. Another bad example is this one, where actually their case studies have amazing numbers, right? Amazing metrics where it says 30x ROI in 30 days. That's incredible. But that's buried under case studies somewhere. But when you look at the testimonials that are highlighted, again, they don't really do anything. Highly recommend this amazing app, great customer service, blah, blah, blah. The other one, again, is around, the team and customer service. Okay, take a couple minutes to pull your testimonials together. Remember to take a look online to see if you have any reviews and testimonials there. You can also look at the App Store if you have an app. If you don't have anything yet, you're going to have to find customers who you think are getting that exact value you're trying to highlight and email them. Take a couple minutes to pull those together. So now we're going to talk about features versus benefits. So take out your piece of paper and write down what are the 2 or 3 killer sort of features that you have that you're going to highlight on your landing pages. What are the features that are your USPs, the reason, that people are on your site, how you help solve the pain. Now, what I want you to do though is avoid talking about the feature, right? I want you to think about what is the outcome of this feature? What does this feature allow the prospect to do? What is the perceived benefit? Remember, it's not about the quarter-inch drill, it's about the quarter-inch holes. What does this feature unlock? What does this feature allow them to do? So here in this example, I think this is a great example. Again, it's from Unbounce. Normally people would be tempted to talk about templates galore, or this is drag and drop, or here are a plethora of lead forms, right? Hundreds of lead forms. But you can see here, instead of talking about the actual feature, what Unbounce has done is backed it into the outcome that people are and the outcome and the pain that people feel. Your one-size-fits-all website doesn't convert, or your devs are too busy to help, or your sales streams are always hungry for more. So here they're avoiding talking about that actual feature, and they're trying to talk about the struggle. Here, this is MailChimp again. So here you can see at the call to action, the button is learn more about the reporting and analytics. Again, this is where you would be tempted to say reporting and analytics. But again, what does that reporting and analytics allow your prospect to do? Learn more about your audience. So again, they've backed it out to an outcome as opposed to talking about that actual feature. This is this is Mixpanel. Again, you can see that this is really about their insights report, but instead of calling it the insight report, right, what they're really calling out is the outcome. How's my product being used? What's the benefit, right? Here is Automation Hero again. Again, accessible, agile, intelligent, secure. Again, horrible. I call this sort of Captain Obvious because no one would say they're less intelligent, less secure, less accessible. Here's some extra credit. This is Basecamp. And what they've done is they've clearly pulled out from their customer interviews. And they always have something that says how it's better. So unlike email, and what they've done is they've taken a look at what are the alternative solutions? What's that consideration set? How do people currently do that job now? So how it's better. And you can see here, this is how they call that out. Okay, so grab that piece of paper and think about what are your 2 or 3 sort of big features, killer features that you want to highlight. And again, we're not going to talk about the feature. So sit down, think about what are the benefits. Take 5 minutes. What are the benefits that this feature unlocks? Right? What does this allow your prospect to do? Put those together, and then once we do that, we're going to talk about the how it works section. Okay, so how it works. So the name is a little bit deceptive. I'm not actually saying you need to list out from an A to Z how your product actually works. But what we're trying to do is what additional information do your prospects need to make progress, right? So now we're in the middle to lower part of your landing page, where we call this the sort of slow and methodical, where now the top of your page has been, okay, this is the headline. It aligns with one of my outcomes. Here's some social proof. You've even showed me some of the benefits and the features. But okay, you've got me now. How does it work? You've made a claim. How does it actually do that? And so we want to figure out what anxieties, what information people need to be able to make progress. And we want to include that. So here, again with Mixpanel, what they've done here is they've shown you a little bit more detail. And they show step 1, step 2, step 3, how this thing actually works. And you can see, okay, this is my overall conversions, this is the breakdown, and it gives you a little bit more information so that you can figure out what to do next. Again, this is MailChimp, and what they've done here is they've shown you, okay, in marketing automations, what is that all about? Oh, okay, someone 120 days after their purchase gets a message, oh, it says, we've missed you. Okay, I get it. And so this is giving them a little bit more to help them clarify. This is one of our portfolio companies called Pure Medical, and they help cancer survivors look for lung cancer treatments. And here what they've done is, again, they've broken it out and they've showed you, okay, this is what you can do. You can understand your diagnosis and treatment better. You can find the exact information you need. What else do your prospects need? Finally, you can do this with an FAQ as well, right? What are the common questions that people have about your service? Normally, this is the stuff that's going to keep them from making progress. I pulled this from a baby food company, a B2C example, right? Can I select different meals for each delivery? How long will the deliveries last? This is the information that people need to make progress. So how long can these pages be? Look, these pages can be as long as they need to be. Here's an example of Basecamp's actual landing page, right? It's nearly 4 meters long, nearly 13 feet long. Now, obviously, this is extreme, but the point I'm trying to make is as long as you have the hierarchy correct, and from the top down, that you go into greater depth and detail, the more you scroll, your page can be as long as it needs to be, as long as it keeps answering questions and it keeps people engaged. All right, it's time to start putting this page together. So that should have taken about 15 minutes. Now we'll start constructing this, remember, either in PowerPoint or slides. So what I want you to do is take a piece of paper out and begin assembling the page with your Post-it notes. So we have our headline, we've got our sub-headline, we've got our benefits and features, we've got our testimonials, and begin to lay that out. And once that starts to come together and make a little bit of sense, go ahead and put it in slides or PowerPoint or Figma, whatever is going to be quick for you. The piece that still might be missing for you is piece 6, which is how it works. Don't worry about it. Construct the page as is. And then with that, when we take it to do some comprehension testing, that will give us the information we need to fill out the how does it work or the FAQs. All right, I'll see you in a bit. So congratulations, you've been able to put together your 15-minute landing page. So let me show you a real life example of one of our clients. Here is one of our companies, Luca. They're an app that helps men get styled, dress better. And so you see here on the left is the original homepage, and on the right is the variant. I'll cut to the chase. They use this framework, and the variant, the new version, has increased conversion by 5x. So they've had a 5x increase in conversions using this new landing page. So as you can see, it passes the now you can test, has a very good subheadline. On the left before, it was a little bit confusing to sort of understand what was actually going on. And, you know, within that first 3 to 5 seconds, it's really hard to sort of comprehend. When we get down into the features and benefits, one of the things that they found out was that the benefits that they were highlighting weren't at all really aligned with what their prospects were feeling. So here they're saying you're in the driver's seat, raise your style game for any occasion. But really what they found out was that like people just want a closet to build on the collection that they have and just get a closet that works. They wanted the ability to discover new brands and find clothes that fit their unique bodies. So those are the benefits that people are really looking for. And now they're aligned with them. In the how it works section on the left, the text itself isn't actually bad, but the image is a little bit misleading. So after someone texts back and forth with the stylist will send them a catalog, and that catalog is what they shop. So here on the new variant, they're going through and showing you a lot more that, okay, you're actually testing. And it's very clear, again, on the right-hand side, how it works. What are the steps that come next? Very good. One of the things that they found out through their customer conversations as well is that there were a lot of anxieties around this being a subscription box and this being AI driven, that it's not a human or personal stylist. And so what they've done is they're really trying to reduce that anxiety by getting in front of it, by making it a big deal. We're not an AI, we're not a subscription box. Finally, on the left, one of the bits of feedback that we were able to glean is that the $30 that's being charged for your personal stylist, it was really difficult for people to figure out if that's expensive or it was a deal. It was really difficult for people who've not used a service like this to contextualize sort of the value. So one of the things that we did is we created a VIP tier, which is much more expensive. And so now people are sort of anchored. And when you see the 30, that 30 seems quite reasonable, and which it is, it's a reasonable cost, but seems like a deal. And so that's some of the insights that we had to highlight the pricing page. And this is the final example that I want to show. It's a little bit out of left field, but I just wanted to show you. This is a landing page for Nectar, which is a mattress company. And clearly, they're not using the framework. People know what a mattress is. They know what the benefits, what you're supposed to do with a mattress. But I just wanted to point out that this entire landing page is dedicated to reducing anxiety and inertia. So if you look at every point here, 365 night free risk trial, lifetime warranty, financing, free delivery setup. So if you have an obvious product, maybe the best strategy is just to reduce and address the anxiety and the inertia. So this is the end of the first half of the landing page tutorial. In the second half, we're going to get into comprehension testing and finding your winning proposition. I just want to take a few minutes to tell you a little bit about Startup Core strengths, and then we'll get to the second half of the presentation. Growth marketing isn't rocket science, but sometimes it helps to get an experienced eye across your business and to spot gaps and opportunities. Our team of coaches have helped hundreds of companies, so we know what great looks like, and we can help you zero in on high impact growth areas. We're Startup Core Strengths, and we help seed and Series A startups who are ready to focus on growth but have doubts about their approach. You can join our remote 10-week coaching program where you'll work side by side with successful Silicon Valley entrepreneurs and marketers. First, we'll help you zoom out, figure out where to focus for maximum impact. Because in a startup, everything feels like a priority, and sometimes we overcomplicate things. Second, we'll help you find your North Star metric and your rate limiting step to align your teams across silos on the most impactful work to drive growth. Finally, you'll progress faster with a lean process of rapid experimentation. It's the same process that's taught at Y Combinator, Reforged, and used at PayPal, Airbnb, and Facebook. Through 25 hours of workshops for up to 6 members of your team, we work together to create your growth playbook. Your playbook includes a North Star metric, a dashboard of 3 to 5 behavioral metrics that drive it, documented insights into your customer's subconsciousness, biases, and triggers and beliefs, messaging that is proven to convert, your best scalable channels, and a prioritized experiment backlog. By the end of this, you'll be running the same growth process that the best Silicon Valley teams use today. Our goal is to create a culture where you can grow faster and more efficiently. If you're interested in this program, just pop us an email. Now we'll get back to the second half of our presentation. All right, so you've pulled together your 15-minute landing page. Now what do we do with it? So this is the portion where we get into comprehension testing, paper testing. So 90% of website landing page traffic bounces. That's 90% of your budget burned, gone. So there are loads of reasons why this happens. It could be poor targeting. You could have slow pages. It could be a bait and switch. It could be you're asking too much of your prospects. But the number one reason that we find at Startup Core Strengths is comprehension. People don't understand what's on your page. So let me show you an example. Right, I'm going to show you some landing pages now, and you are going to tell me what you remember, what this is. So maximize your screen. Here we go. All right. What did you see? What do you remember? What was this about? What pops out? Okay. Let me show you another version, the second revision. So what is this? What do you remember? What does this do? Okay, and let me show you the third and final revision. Okay, so this was a client of ours, a portfolio company called Thriva, and they're brilliant marketers. And they were essentially trying to test a new product concept that they were thinking of launching. Now, Thriva is an at-home blood testing kit, so you can monitor your health. And as you can see in the first revision, what we're doing in the paper test is we're trying to see what people understand, what they remember. And I showed it to you for about 5 seconds, and this is what you're going to do with your own paper test. So here, what they were able to do in about 6 hours or so is go from 0% comprehension to about 100% comprehension. And what is comprehension? So on this page, what you need to understand that it's a blood test. It's an at-home finger prick blood test. It costs $19 a month. And then based on your blood results, you'll get some sort of diet and exercise recommendation. So there are about 4 things that you need to sort of take away from this page. And so what you're going to do is you're going to show someone your page, right? Get them on Zoom. They don't have to be a customer, an ideal customer profile, because again, we're not looking to see if someone likes it or would use it, right? We're trying to understand if they comprehend what's on the page. We're trying to minimize that 90% bounce rate. And so what you're going to do is you're going to give it to them. Don't tell them that you're going to give it to them for 5 seconds, but you're going to give it to them for 5 seconds. And you're going to show it to them. Then you're going to take it away. And then you're going to ask, so what do you think this was about? What do you remember? What do you remember seeing? What words stand out? Okay. And then based on that information, you're going to take that feedback and chop and change your landing page. You're going to change up the words, visual elements, information hierarchy based on that feedback. And then what you're going to do is you're going to give it back to them for 10 seconds. Okay. And then you're going to ask them, hey, what do you think this product or service does? What do you think of this? How do you think it works? Now, for those of you in our previous exercise, when I said what to fill in the how it works section, this is it, okay? So after you give it to them for 10 seconds, and then you ask them, what do you think this is? Every single question that your prospect has around, oh, does it do this? How does this work? That is exactly what you're going to answer in the how it works section, all right? So take the information that you get from these paper tests and use those questions, those anxieties, to populate your how it works section. Okay, so you created your first 15-minute landing page. Okay, you're going to have your quick and dirty version. You're going to go out and you're going to just ask anybody. Remember, they don't need to be your ideal customer profile. Figure out what are the 2, 3, or 4 things that people need to take away from your landing page, and then measure comprehension based on that. And keep iterating quick and dirty on PowerPoint, right? Until you get that comprehension up to 80, 90, 100%. Once you've done that, then go ahead and finalize the design. Build the landing page, okay? And we just said that 90% of landing page traffic bounces. Now you've just basically ensured that you've lowered that much to a much, much lower rate. Maybe only 10% bounces because of comprehension. So that's the 15-minute landing page. These are the paper tests. You have everything that you need now to put that together. So good luck with that. And I'd love to hear from you. And if any of you get amazing sort of results from this, please do let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Okay, so we're at the final bit of the presentation where we're going to talk about proposition testing and how to find your winning prop without spending a lot of traffic. This was a technique that was taught to me by my friend Mo, so I call it Mo's prop wheel. And again, we're using Thriva for our example. So with this, we're trying to get directionally correct. We're not looking for perfection, okay? And so what you're going to do is you're going to take your core propositions. There could be more than 3. There could be 4 or 5, whatever. Just take 3 for now and lay them out on a page. Here you can see that Thriva has 3 sort of core messages. One, it's based in science. It's convenient, and it's proactive. Now, the mistake that people tend to make is they'll take all 3 of these propositions and sort of throw them together into an ad. And we don't want to do that right now. So what we want to do is we want to break them apart, make them separate and distinct, and make sure that they don't overlap, right? And so this is how we're going to find the winning proposition, the proposition that your prospects actually care about. So here, what Thrive has done is they created a statement in the direction of based in science. Don't rely on feelings, rely on science. You'll do the same. Then create another statement in the direction of convenience. Then another statement in the direction of being proactive. Okay. And then you're going to create ad sets off this. Could be Facebook, could be Google PPC. And what we're going to do is we're going to isolate the images, use the same images, and just change the copy. And what will happen is one of these pieces of copy will pull much harder, will resonate much more strongly with your prospects. That's your winning proposition. Now, what you can do is you can test messages that are 50-50. Okay, let's say based in science is pulling for us. Let's see what happens if we do something between based in science and being proactive. Or let's see what happens if we do something with based in science and being convenient. Once you have you want to look at the click-through rates to see which one of these is resonating. Then you want to look at conversions. And once you find that winning proposition, go ahead and change the heading of your landing pages, change your homepage to reflect that proposition. All right, guys. So what have we done today? We've gone through the most important insights that you need to include on a page. We've talked about the interview questions that you can ask to find those insights. We've talked about how to spot the 4 forces and incorporate them into your landing pages. We've also talked about how we're going to do a rough landing page in 15 minutes and how to do the paper test to spot those comprehension issues. And finally, how we're going to find our winning proposition. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you found this useful, informative, and practical. We'll see you around. Thanks a lot.